everyone. My name is Sofarius Diaz. Me and Will are back today, finally, to do a kind of horror podcast on a Marvel movie. Today we're talking about Blade 2. Uh, yeah, so I'm very excited for that. Will, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. And I listen, last week we did or 2 weeks ago, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. You say you haven't seen Blade 2.
Right.
Was that correct?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And your so what's your overall impression of Blade 2? Just
I I for some reason I thought it was gonna be bad. I don't know why. I guess like
really?
yeah, I should say that I loved it. Like it was really fun. Um but I guess my impression was like the first movie was like so like campy and different that the sequel must have just been like that but turned up to a degree where I wouldn't enjoy it anymore. But it wasn't like it was still like campy and kind of like silly, but I still really liked it. And I think Guillermo del Toro uh, put enough of like his own twist on it that
Oh
it
yes, he did.
felt like different enough from the first one to still be interesting.
Yes. He also expanded the vampire lore in this
Hmm.
universe, which was very good. He did like very cool character development for Blade to deal with, like like knowing between like like he has to realize there's some people in the vampire world that didn't choose to be this, but that's who they are.
Right.
And it's a very interesting way to me that like in a love interest, but who is very good and like she's not like a dozen of distress. Like
Hmm.
that's one of the cool aspects about Blade 2 that I love so much.
Hmm.
And this film, like if you watch like Hellboy 2, the Golden Army, there's a lot of similarities of
Okay.
themes and stuff like that that's going on. Like I don't know if you've seen the Hellboy movies yet, but
I
or
watched them in like middle school, so it's been a long time. But
okay,
I really
okay,
liked them when I watched them, and I'd watch them again, but I don't remember details.
yeah. Um, both are good. They're fun. They're great comic movies. And
Yeah.
the sequel, the villain for Blade 2 is actually the main villain as well. Again in
Mm,
in Hellboy 2,
okay.
and yeah, there's like a little similarities here and there. Um, it, it's about like traditions and like the culture that where they're in and like how people proceed it, and then that's like the theme of it. The proceed of it. Like Blade proceeds. The vampires are bad, and like they must get must be destroyed. From the
Hmm.
first film and then into this film, but it gets a little complicated because you know, uh, especially like he has to work with these, the enemy that he's sworn to fight.
Hmm.
And here it's kind of interesting to see him working with the vampires to fight this the common enemy, but in reality it's actually all connected.
Hmm.
So it's very deep, like a very integral like film with this plots and stuff like that. um yeah, I love this movie. Blade 2, when I saw it when I was young, I think it's it steps up so much what you like about the first film, and like it does it in a very creative way, and it doesn't like it doesn't step down what happened in the first film. I guess the big thing I want to kind of talk to you about, Will, what you thought about Stick coming back here, Whistler coming back for this sequel,
Mm.
because that's the
Uh,
major thing that happens
yeah,
immediately after the movie opens. Go ahead. Um,
yeah. I guess I don't know. I don't. He didn't really need to come back,
mm,
but I'm not like mad that they brought him back. You know, because he's an interesting character, and he's like since he's the only person that Blade can trust, he's the only person that Blade can have like like conversations with that will develop his character more.
right?
But I don't know,
Um,
like
he adds like a like he adds more like the high stake for this film, like trust. That's the thing.
mhm,
Like, can like not only Blade, should he trust the people on the vampire team he's working with? Like, can he still trust Whistler because of he got captured and he doesn't know he got turned into a vampire, and
mhm,
then there's things about Whistler in this film, like there's moments where like like the filmmakers are trying to trick you,
mhm,
he like disappeared on the rooftop and then he came back like just instantly to form the team that he could capture like a reaper, and
right.
everyone questioned it, like there's just like there's questions about him, but like in the end he's still a good guy.
Mhm,
And and there's a scene that's very powerful, like, because like the thing about Whistler, he's like a father figure for Blade, and
mhm,
like I love the scene where he told Whistler about like, okay, here it's gonna be, if he opens the blinds he's gonna die because that he's turned, if not, like he there's nothing, like we never hear what he say after he mentions the lights, like what's gonna happen afterwards. But so luckily we find out he didn't turn to a vampire, just they fix him up. But
mhm,
except with his leg, of course. Um, and so like that's the thing. It's like it's pushing a lot of areas with Blade that he's so like uncomfortable, or like he wants to be control in. Sometimes he's not in control. So that's
mhm,
like one of the things that's cool about this film. Like we're really like pushing Blade's buttons, and in a very like vulnerable way, and like that's something we don't see a lot in superhero movies.
mhm.
um it gets worse. I I don't know if I spoiled this, but or should I spoil this? But like, I mean, you mentioned like you thought this movie was going to be bad. Um,
Mhm.
the third one is the bad one,
I've
and
heard that. I know because like Wesley Snipes didn't like the director, right?
yes,
I know the one anecdote about there was like a shot where um Blade was supposed to be like dead or something, and his eyes were supposed to be open, and Wesley Snipes refused to open his eyes, so they had to use
yeah.
CGI to like. It's ridiculous.
Oh my
Um,
god, it's oh my god. There's so many things about this movie. Like, he, like was it Pat Oswald? He talked
he's
about
in it.
this. Yeah, like yeah, he's in that. Oh yes, yes. He talked about he always talks about like the behind scenes trouble of that film, and
Mm, maybe that's why I know about it. But
yeah, it's like I mean, this is Blade Trinity. That's the movie called Blade Trinity, and and the thing the thing I don't like after this movie is that they kill off again Whistler in that third film.
mm,
So like anticlimactically, or that's how you say it. I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah, anticlimactically.
Yeah, like we're just coming off after the second film we brought him back, and that's the thing I don't like about the development into the
Mm,
third film.
yeah.
Um, yeah, it's really bad. Um, I mean, it's like X-Men 3 bad, I would say,
Oh, okay.
because
Harsh.
it's yeah. Well, like, the thing about it is like it's not even a Blade movie. Like it's more
Right.
like what is it? The Midnight Stalker team, with Ryan Reynolds and Jessica Bell characters, and it's like and oh my god, Dracula's horrible. Third film. Oh my god.
Oh, wait, hold up.
Yeah. So, oh my god, and the
Midnight.
jokes.
Wait,
Oh, sorry.
what are they called? The
Night
Oh,
Stalkers,
never
I think.
mind. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I just looked it up.
Yeah, because I.
It said midnight, and I was like, the Midnight Suns are in this, but it's
No,
not
no, no, no. I'm sorry.
right.
I,
Okay.
I
Yeah.
totally
Okay.
forgot about their name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Oh
that's
my.
fine.
Yeah. It's just so like. I want to get into like this because because the thing is so bad with that film is the humor. And
Hmm.
this the second film, the humor is so great. Oh my god, so many lines that I love. I what's your favorite line from this movie? I'm kind of curious.
Uh, I don't know if there were any that stood out in this one. I like one of the things is like I think I liked the dialogue in the first movie better
Okay,
personally. Not that it was like bad in this one, just there weren't any that like stuck with me.
okay, that's interesting. No, I can
But
agree.
yeah, what were some of your favorites though?
Okay, so I'm surprised you like. There's a line with Whistler towards the third act
Hmm.
where you got the big reveal, of course, with Norman Reed's Scud that he's like
Yep,
the infiltrator.
the familiar, yeah.
Yep, and he of course, earlier in the film, Blade put the bond device onto Ron Perlman's character,
Hmm.
and we thought, okay, he was in control, and like he was showing the vampire team that like don't mess around with him. But then towards the third act, of course, he was trying to activate it because they were in trouble, and of course it didn't work. Of course, the whole reveal about Scudder being Scud being the
Hmm.
the bad guy,
Yep.
and I love. It's not the line Wesley Snipes say. It's after he explode Scud out, and like Whistler say, "Oh, I start to like him." Like after he got exploded, he's like, "I started to like him."
Hmm.
So like such a great one liner from him. Oh my god. Yeah, really great lines here. Yeah, you're right. And then the one with Ron Perlman when like Blade like attacks the whole guards, and then like he literally kills all of them in that one scene, and then Perlman says to Blade, "Oh, the time when my dad was going to kill my mom, you had to do everything by yourself." That's a great line. It's so dark humor. A lot of dark humor in this film that's just so good.
Hmm.
So, um, okay, yeah, and I mean, you mentioned the dialogue, yeah, because we don't have Deacon Frost in this film, so like
Hmm.
he doesn't have like a really cool like one-on-one to like a villain
Right.
dialogue. So because him and Nomak in the film don't have enough screen time, but
Hmm.
but at least um the dialogue is good with each character. It's not as like rich because the first film is like they were explaining so much of the history and the lore that's going
Yeah.
on in Blade. So you know, um,
I know.
yeah, yeah, um, yeah. It's kind of crazy. I guess we need to kind of talk about the new. What do you thought about the villains? I guess that's the big thing. You like these villains for this film, or you like the first one?
Um, as far as like the villain characters in this one, they weren't great, but the
Mm-hmm.
design for the Reapers was top notch.
Yes.
I loved that. I loved um, just like the weird way that they would move sometimes. I loved the like way that their jaws unhinged in the front.
Yes. Oh my god.
Um, they're just great monster design. Um,
And was it the autopsies that
oh yeah, that was cool.
yes.
Yeah, the autopsy. Oh man, like, and
Yeah.
just great practical effects in that scene too.
Yes.
Um,
Pretty cool. Um,
yeah.
and I love the gadgets in this movie too. Um,
Hmm.
that's
Yeah.
another one I really like so much. So yeah, I like this villains more than I think the first film. Just
Okay. Yeah.
personally from
Sorry.
oh no, I'm sorry. Like just personally for me, I think it's because like the Reapers are more scarier, they're a little more
Hmm.
threatening, and then
Hmm.
Nomak is it's a really great like antagonist for Blade, just for like he's similar to him, but different because he's like after his father and the his organization as a whole, and
Hmm.
like it is interesting to see, you know, like he's like this failed experiment to his father, which I forgot his name actually. I don't know what his name. Uh,
Uh, let's see if I can.
yeah, because
It
I
was
don't know. Oh, El
Damascus.
Naxios. Yes, the ancient vampire. Like,
Yeah,
you know, like, um, like, no, Mac is trying to like build this new super race, but they're like kind of inferior because they don't have the thing that the father and like is trying to create the pure like vampires with the the ability with
right.
blade of um,
Yeah. The
sunproof.
right. The all of their strengths, none of their weaknesses, I think is the
Exactly.
line that Blade uses to describe himself at the beginning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. I really okay. So the villain's like plot in this movie is significantly better and more interesting than the first movie. And
Yes.
like the blood god sacrifice thing was, yeah, this is much better.
Yeah.
I just like the characters themselves weren't as like memorable for me, but I think the plot was more interesting and their motivations were more interesting.
Yeah. This film felt more, was it like plot driven film?
Hmm. Yeah.
I think the first film was more character driven, I think.
Mm.
Because when I was rewatching this film, for this podcast, I was like, okay, so this film feels more plot driven, where this first film was more plot driven because we were dealing a lot with Blade in that film. Like, not only,
Hmm.
Deacon Frost was the one that, he by his mom
Right.
or whatever happened in that first film. Like, also his mom is back in that film and she's a vampire, like there's a lot of things going on with that film.
Yeah, the fight was a lot more personal in the
Yeah,
first one.
yeah, exactly. Where, the second film is, much more plot driven. It's much more like it's like, all right, we already established what Blake, who he is, what the universe is. Let's have fun with it. And that's the thing I love about this film, is like they went out their way to make a fun, just popcorn like horror fest, and like it completely accomplished that all, like 117 minutes of this film's runtime, and it's just beautiful. Um, yeah, and yeah, because like the villain plot was very interesting, and just I like how the twists and turns. That's another thing I love with this film, is like the the twists and turns that happened in this film was fun, and it's like you didn't expect that. Like were you expecting Scott be the rat in the film?
No, no.
Yeah, when I saw it for that first time, I was like, really? it made sense. And it's like,
Hmm.
oh, you know, um, yeah, because I love that they continue from the first film, and this is great expansion of the humans being like, was it like the servants to the vampires? Um,
Hmm.
they have the marks in their hands or in their lip, as Scott did it.
Hmm.
So that was cool that they expanded that, and like it was actually like a cool way to expand that, not only to like show the guy with the glasses that's working with the father, but
Hmm.
using Scott as this like plot twist that, oh, he's like the mold in the group,
Hmm.
and so, oh my god, and his death is one of the best, like out of nowhere deaths. He just boom explode.
Hmm.
um Oh my god, it's totally incredible. What you thought about Scott? Before the turn, like what you thought about him in this film? I thought he was a great addition, and I like his banter with Whistler, pretty good, and, and just there,
Yeah, me too.
yeah. What you thought about him? Uh, yeah,
Yeah, no, I agree that he was a good addition. I liked in like that one scene at the club or the rave. I thought it was good for just for like suspense reasons to have a character there who like didn't have any kind of power or like martial training, you know?
Yes.
He was just in the van and he was being attacked. That added way more like tension to that scene than there would have been if it was just the blood pack and Whistler.
Yes, that's very true. That's very good. Yes, that's really good point. Yeah, his that scene is very like it's one of my favorite scenes. It's just like how the
Mhm.
Reapers attack him. It's just crazy. It's like it's crazy how powerful they are in this film. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, and I love his scene where he was like watching Powerpuff Girls in the like
Yep.
in the TV. That is such a good visual humor from the Toro. It's just perfect. Uh, yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah. He's a great character. But really crazy uh, mole. Uh, okay, let's get into my like. I kind of hear one of the things I like about these first two Blade films is the love interests, and I like how they're very like tough. They can handle themselves. They're not like devastated and stressed like Mary Jane in the Raimi films,
Hmm.
or some of the Marvel MCU films like Jane or Pepper Potts and Nine Tree, which that makes sense there
Yeah.
because of Shane Black. Um, what you thought about Nissa? What you thought about her? Because I personally love her in this film, and like I thought she brings everything about what the film is talking about, and like she has really great chemistry with Blade, and like it's not forced, it's very organic. What do you think about her?
Yeah, I thought she was interesting. And I agree with what you were saying earlier about like this film kind of challenging Blade's preconceptions about
Yeah,
like his about vampires and his fight against vampires. Um, so yeah, I thought her dynamic with her brother and her father were interesting as well.
yes,
Um,
yeah. Um, like yeah, I mean, one of like that's how Hellboy 2 is.
mhm.
The Go to Army. That's how what is it? The elves. The film is like you have a sister. This is was it Abraham's love interest in the second film,
Mhm.
and then her brother is the main villain, and it's like it's similar to that, but it's just the way how it actually no, like it's kind of funny. The brother and sister does die in the second film as well. They die. It's kind of funny. There's a lot of overlap for this one, Hellboy 2. Um,
Mhm.
uh, but yeah, I guess we talk about like the effects and the makeup, of these creatures. I I think I've been mentioning a couple bit of Hellboy, because after this film, Guillermo del Toro directs Hellboy afterwards, and he does supply a lot of the things that we like about him, with the makeup, the creatures designs, and just the overall love of cinema and horror, in general.
Mhm.
Um, I think he was a perfect choice to do Blade 2. I think he really elevate so much what made the first one great, and like he just tops it into just to 11 really, and it's just incredible.
Mhm.
Like I love the rave thing, like
Yeah.
how this explains to Blade like, oh, because of you, we need to be a little more secure, had to be more secure, and like you had to be more secretive, and like it was like cool how they did it, and it was like Blade say nice,
Mhm.
like such a great direction, because that's another thing that it's so bad in the third film, because um this shows how you can rein in David S. Porter, the screenwriter,
Mhm.
and if because he directs the next film, and
Ah, okay.
yeah, yeah, it's really bad. If like I don't like, I mean, if the Toro didn't get the Hellboy role or like the job, Like I think it'd be nice that he came back for the third film, but like of course he went for that, which is good because that's the project he wanted to do. Um, I don't know why the studio let Darius Gord direct the film. I mean, because he's like a hit and miss writer for me,
Yeah.
and and just here, the turtle like does a good job of like making the dialogue acceptable and like it makes sense and it's not cringy sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's good, and that's something that's like unfortunately the problem with the third film is that David Esquire is doing all this. He's writing the screenplay and he's also directing, and like it's really awful because he does a lot of like cringy stuff in the third film. Oh my god, I cannot like, say this in this podcast. It's just really awful.
Okay.
Oh my um, yeah, it's really awful, and despite how the third film is, I'm really happy that this film gave the turtle like into Hollywood, you know, and I really appreciate about this film. It's because
Mm-hmm.
it got him into like the Hollywood system and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I guess what's like your favorite scene from this film? I'm kind of curious. Um,
Favorite scene. I really
yes,
liked the action in the when they were in like the sewer system or the
yes, it's really
um
impressive.
yeah. It's cool like fight choreography. I thought the like sunshine bombs were cool
Yes,
and used well. Um there's a good like balance of tension as they were trying to escape and everyone was like betraying each other.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The plan was in formation when they got
Hmm.
into that sewers. Yeah, yeah. I agree. It's really great attention. It has one of my favorite Blade lines. Like he say, "Oh, you don't know who you're, effing with." Like
Hmm.
that's one of my favorite lines for him. When he start gonna detonate the whole sewers with the UV bombs.
Hmm. Yeah.
So it's pretty like it's one of the most funny like one liners from Blade and Snipes. Oh yes.
Hmm.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Yeah, great scene. The speaking of the cinematography, it's great in this film. I love the cinematography in this film. Very like orange, blues, and a lot of reds. It's just very like it's very European like feel to that film. You know,
Hmm. Hmm.
because the first film you feel like it was like American like feel. Here like with the cinematography from Gabriel uh, Bernstein, he brings a lot of like hammer horror and like Cronenberg kind of feel to it, with the shade of blues and reds and the orange and browns is like it's very poppy, it gives it that comic book look to it.
Hmm.
My favorite scene, and I get into my scene. My favorite scene is Blade getting recharged from the blood pool, and
Hmm. Yep.
and and of course Rob Palmer is there, and like every like security guard from that building is coming, and they're gonna attack Blade, and oh my god, that whole scene is amazing. Just him killing like I was just rewatching it and then watching a clip of that scene. It's like crazy to hear like every security guard getting their bones getting broken because Blake has super strength,
Hmm.
and then the way he in the last part when he grabs the last guard and like he does this and like he casts him upside down and he does the sumo like wrestler uh, move, and it's oh my god, that scene is so crazy. Oh my god,
Hmm.
one of the best. Like like the first one, he does that as well, and it was like a one like singular shot. Here is just mm, again, but much more like oh my god, just what is happening here? It's just one of my favorite scenes ever. And the sun. goes with that in that scene as well is also great because it adds the oh my god the craziness that's that scene. Oh my god, love that scene so much. But yeah, and I guess I kind of want to go into like nitpicks. Like, do you have like any nitpicks or like something that didn't work in this film? Like, I'm kind of curious to hear that from you, Will.
I mean, I mentioned not liking some of the dialogue as much as the first film, and there's one scene in particular where Blade and Nomak are fighting,
Mm, yeah,
and Nomak just keeps saying some variation of like, "We want the same thing," or like, "The enemy of my enemy is my friend," and he just says that like over and over again. And I was like, I got it the first time. You don't need to say it throughout this entire scene.
yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, um, yeah, it's I I don't know if he's like he means it to Blade because like I mean yeah, that's true. Um,
Like I think it was an important like point to make for him to like point out how weird it is that Blade is helping the vampires, but also like we already understand why Blade is doing that. So there's
yeah,
no like tension of like, oh, like is he gonna convince Blade that he's on the wrong side? Like, no, like
yeah,
you're worse than the vampires. That's all it is. Like, and then to like keep hitting that home is
it's
just
real bizarre.
redundant. But
Yeah, and also like Blade, like yes, like Blade talked about this with Whistler and Scott. Like this is like the farthest we got into their like systems, and like he like we're gonna do this because we could get maybe like intel about what's like everything they're doing. Like he can stop that, right? And but
mhm,
also he's very worried about working with them. So like he's already like full on like Captain Ahab of like, okay, I'm gonna work with you, but I'm not gonna like you know like he didn't like lose sight on who they are. Like
mhm,
he was watching Scott, of course, when like Scott made the reveal, and like
yeah,
he say like, look, I was onto you since you arrived, and like
mhm,
so like yeah, I agree with you, Will. Like it's kind of weird because like like yes, the villains were one step ahead in the film, but like Blade was also it's just he did it in a different way
right,
in the the circumstances he was in, you know. So yeah, yeah, I agreed. I guess yeah, I agreed. But then it kind of shows the downfall of excuse me the series as a whole. I would say
mhm,
when Goyer takes over, and the dialogue gets even worse. Um, I mean, there's there's one or two lines Ryan Reynolds say in that film, but like very cringeworthy. Like there's a line where like he, because Jessica Bell's character like has an iPod. It's like we listen to music, and like he say something like, oh, the typical music here, there, like whatever the kids are listening to today is like, oh my god, it's just really just awful joke. Anyway, man, not talking about Blade. We're talking about Blade 2 here.
yeah,
Um, I guess we mentioned nitpicks. Like I want to get into more like Nomad because he's a very interesting character. I like. I know we talked about the villains. They're not. You think it's not as good as the first film. I think it's better than. I think I like the villain plot more from this
yeah.
film over the.
I like the plot more. I think the characters themselves like
Yeah.
aren't as charismatic, I think.
Mm,
But I think their motivations and their actual story is more interesting.
yeah. I agree. I agree. Yeah. Speaking. I guess the other character that's like um, really cool and another villain is Ron Perlman's character. I love him
Mm,
in this
yeah.
film, and what do you thought about him and his performance? Because I just love him in this film. It's just him and Blade's like rivalry is just
Hmm.
amazing. And
Yeah.
God,
Yeah, I thought he was a good foil for Blade.
yeah.
Um, and I don't know, I really liked watching him in all of the like action sequences. Um, like that one part in the like nightclub scene where
Oh
he
yes,
like corners uh Reaper and then it's just kind of like experimenting on it.
yeah.
It's really interesting and like yeah.
It's oh my God, that seems crazy. Yeah. Oh, yeah, and that's great too. I also like was it Parman's? I love the scene where Blade does like the flippy the stick thing. Like he does the flippy and he
Mm,
slaps Parman.
yeah, yeah.
It's and then after Parman attacks him, he puts the denier over his his head. It's oh my God, that seems
Hmm.
crazy. Just
Yeah.
oh my God. Um, there's familiar people in this movie, and there's Donnie Yen is this movie. I didn't realize he's in this movie.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Gosh.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I
What do you thought about Donnie Yen?
was surprised when he showed up too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean his character didn't really like get a lot of like screen time or development, but I still thought he was interesting. And again, in that nightclub scene, there was that one uh, part that I really liked where he was fighting a Reaper and he like stabbed it, and then the Reaper just kind of like pulled himself up off the sword and then climbed up the wall. That
Yes.
was like
Oh my God,
very
that
creepy and oh man, great. It was great.
one of the most creepy scenes I ever seen.
Yeah, just like climbs up out of the sword like it's nothing. And
No,
then well, like clearly it was injured, but like, you
yeah,
know,
it,
man.
like oh my God, another creepy scene. In that movie was the opening scene where Nomak was infiltrating the blood tests, whatever,
Hmm.
blood banks,
Yeah.
and then like like he's like I don't know, like he's pretending to be like a blood donor or a drug addict or something like that.
Yeah.
And like of course they're vampires, and like he had this like saturated syringe hand glove, and it's like creepy, and they were like laughing, and then
Hmm.
he starts to cry, but then he does this great switch of like laughing, and
Hmm.
his attack on those three people in the vault was so like like that was so much horror, like
Yeah.
that scene gets you into this movie quickly.
Yeah.
It's just like what is going on here? Like you got this vampire and like his mouth was open. Like why you're mentioning four wheel with the beeper? You know,
Hmm.
it's
Hmm.
just that scene is so creepy, like very like horror. Just right away it's like okay, uh, uh, this S is going down in this movie. Oh my God,
Hmm.
it's crazy. Um, yeah, and what's the other creepy scene? I mean, the autopsy is great. It's also like very like Cronenberg, or
Hmm.
like just the organs and everything is just like crazy. It's just,
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy.
Very alien looking, but still like
Yeah, yeah,
realistic. Like it looks like organs. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, yeah.
It's it's crazy. Um, yeah, it's just amazing.
Hmm.
Um, Yeah, and what else we have to mention? I'm trying to find what else happened in the film that was like oh I I want to talk about like the payoffs. That's another thing that I like about this film, and Iron Man, the first Iron Man movie.
Mm.
I love how they pay off the thing like that they were like they set up early, or you don't know that like it's gonna pay off. Like you got the guy, the Rush, the vampire flunky, and Prague, and like Blade. kept him alive because he needed to get into this thing, and he say like, "I'll catch you later" or something like
Hmm.
that.
Yeah.
And then he gets him towards the end of the movie. That's like the end of the film, and that
Yeah.
was pretty cool. Like great payoff. And then, oh my god, yes, like it's like, are these girls are real? I don't know. I mean, and then he gets in and it's like, oh, he was picking the girls, and then like Blaze in it, and it's like, oh, I told you I was not gonna pick you, and then he just cuts him to half, and oh my god,
Yeah.
cut. The film ends. Oh my god.
That was good.
Oh my god. One of like one of the
Yeah.
best payouts ever.
It felt like an end credit scene, you know.
Yeah, that's
Like it was obviously before the credits, but it had the same vibe of
yeah.
the story of the movie is over, but we're gonna like pay off this one thing really quickly with it, like a
Yeah.
joke.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of like post credit scenes, that always was there. Will, like, you see Masters of the Universe?
No, I haven't.
Okay, it's kind of funny you mentioned post credit scene. Just a little tangent, but like, there's a post credit scene towards the end of that film where Skeletor, that's
Hmm.
right, or
Yeah,
Skeletor comes.
Skeletor. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he comes down. He's like, "I'll be back," and like it pauses. Like the post credit scene actually existed before, um, well, before Marvel Studios started to make that popular in Iron
Yeah.
Man.
Well, I know the Pirates of the Caribbean movies have post-credit scenes too,
Yes,
which
they do. They do.
uh, which something that's blowing my mind right now is that the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie came out before Blade 2. Um,
Oh yes. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's so true.
yeah.
And X-Men 3, The Last Stand. That was another one that I didn't know that had like the post credit scene
Yep.
with, what was it?
Yeah, I
The
think it's been
body.
a thing for a while.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, Marvel definitely like
Popularize it.
popularized it. Yeah, and like
Yeah.
made sure people weren't leaving until a movie was over.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy. Yeah. That, I mean, if they like end the scene when Nissa die and stuff like that, and then like they make that as a post credit scene, that would be the best post credit scene ever in my
yeah,
life.
that'd be good.
Yeah. Oh my god. What else? We need to talk about. We can talk about the Blood Pack. I guess they were cool. I mean,
Yeah, I think some of them were more interesting than others, but I think
yeah,
overall they were a good addition.
yeah. The guy. Well, this is also like a This film is horror movie. It's not like too much like a superhero film. There's
Hmm.
like a horror trope that is in this film that's like kind of ridiculous. Um, was it like one of
Yeah,
the
when the guy gets bitten.
yes,
Yep. It
and
does seem.
like how, like, first off, you need to get help because you don't know you're going to be affected,
Right.
and he just like it's one of his like lovers or like whatever, the
Yeah.
girl like is attracted to him.
Mhm.
Like he was telling the ruins of like why you don't want to tell her, and like like you could easily help them, like provide some evidence and like information about the Reapers more, right?
Yeah.
Like that was the part I was like, oh my god, you were speaking like how you didn't like some of the dialogue. Like that part I did not like. I think.
Yeah.
Like, oh
No,
my god,
definitely a nitpick.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, oh my god, yeah. That when that
Like, what did
happened,
you think was gonna happen?
yeah, like
Like, I don't know. All
yeah.
right.
No, I guess he didn't know he was going to turn, right? Because like we didn't know
No,
in.
but they already knew that though. They
Oh, they
already
knew
knew
that.
that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
the whole thing was that they would like those things if they bit you would turn vampires into reapers.
No, no, you're right. Never mind. I still hate that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, that's crazy. Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. This film. Anyway. What else? there anything else we have to discuss? Will,
Um,
I figure it out.
I guess I remembered a line that I liked.
Okay, tell me.
Uh, there was one part where someone was talking to Nomak, and they're like, "Oh, is this like a good news, bad news situation?" And Nomak was like, "Yeah, good news for us, bad news for you." I thought that was like a good turn of phrase.
Yes.
Uh,
Uh,
but I don't know. The first movie has my favorite line in just like any action movie, so I guess it's unfair to compare it to that.
no, no. Well, nothing beats was it the ice hill?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that's the best line
yeah,
in any action movie.
yeah. I know. Yeah, yeah. I agree with you. Yeah. Just yeah. This one has just like a lot of visual humor that I like.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
well, I guess the thing I like from the Perlman and Blade rivalry is like, was it like Perlman had like the was it the light gun for the shotgun? Like it targets like long range.
yeah,
He was aiming at Blade, and then of course Blade, like the Blade, Blade is not noticing it, but like he does notice, and like he puts it as well to
yeah,
him, and it's like, oh my god,
yeah.
so
That was
funny.
good.
Oh my god. One of those funny visual gags. Oh my god. Uh, what else? Oh my god. There was a lot of visual gags here. That was funny. Anyway.
Mm,
But what else? The I guess the final fight with I guess another thing that I liked about this film was the final fight between Nomak and Blade. I like that more
mm,
than the Frost and Blade thing because
yeah.
I mean that one was okay, but like it was just too ambitious for his own good. Here, I mean,
Mm,
here is a little better because they were playing more like just I don't know. I like this final like villain and hero fight than the first film. I don't know what you
okay,
thought
yeah.
about.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I'm trying to remember the fight from the first one, and all like the only thing I can like remember, like picture in my head, is this one scene where he cuts the bad guy in half, and then there's like really terrible CGI blood
Yes.
that like brings them back together. Yeah, this one looked better.
Yeah, exactly. It's much better. I
Yeah.
mean, and yeah, and I love that they don't put the punches away.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like you hear cracks and then bones getting break and like the way he was trying to break like Nomac's arm, like was
Yeah.
crazy. And then how he like got his arm back to perfect is like whoa crazy. Like just
Yeah.
oh my god, that scene was like whoa.
Mhm.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Anyway, yeah, that one was good. And then I guess anything else we have to mention for Blade Two. I'm like, is there anything I'm missing, or I think we covered everything, right? I
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I guess like just kind of like just go over like your thoughts of Blade Two because I think Blade Two was I think it's the number one for this franchise in my opinion. I think it's one of the best sequels. I it does everything right as a sequel does. It expands the universe. Like it expands Blade as a character, and I like the things about this film does that a lot of comic book movies doesn't do. Like I like the love interest. Like she's proactive. She's not whiny or um,
Right. She's not there just to be a love interest.
exactly. And
Um,
and yeah, it's tragic too. I really was sad that she died. And like
yeah.
that they nailed that really perfectly. And the action, it's top notch. I mean, I think Wesley Snipes Wesley Snipes, hasn't aged well. He looked great in this film, and like he's like
Hmm.
top form. And I think he was very committed to this film. I think where we get to the third film, he's not really committed to the third film. So just let you know that.
Yeah. So let's. Do you think I should watch the third film, or do you think I'm good to stop here?
Uh, I mean, I mean, because we are gonna talk about Blade 3 someday. I want to say.
Okay.
Um, but for now, stop here. Let
Yeah.
enjoy yourself with Blade 2. Um, I think one of these days we need to do a month where we just review the worst movies and get that over with.
Okay.
Because I don't want to deal with X-Men 3. I don't want to deal with Spider-Man 3.
Amazing Spider-Man 2.
I mean, that's okay. But, Fantastic
Okay.
Four. Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah. I don't want to watch Fantastic Four.
Oh my God, we have to. We need to discuss the madness of that film. Anyway, we'll do it when it's like an anniversary for that film, and then we'll like discuss that. And that's it. I think we could do that. Yeah. I guess I will tell you it's not like a third bad film like X-Men 3. Like it's like enjoyable. Like it's like it's in the middle between X-Men 3 and Spider-Man 2. Like
Okay.
like there's good things about the film, but the problem is, excuse me, the problem is it's executed really badly, and so like the bad outweighs the good sometimes with that film. Where like I don't like X-Men 3 because it's like it like if you're a big fan of Cyclops or Professor X, like they killed him off. That's really awful. And,
Yeah.
and the jokes don't land in X-Men 3 Last Stand. It's very tone deaf in that. Where Blade 3, like Blade Trinity, it's a horror movie, but like it has that like B like horror slot thing going in that film, and like it feels like a Venom, like it's kind of like Venom, what Venom is trying to be, but it's not.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. For now, just stop right now, and then I'll tell you to go and see Blade Trinity for your curiosity. I'll say.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, yeah, really, like it's kind of funny. I mentioned Fantastic or Fantastic Four. It's like that. It's like it's X-Men 3 mixed with Fantastic Four, where it it began a very like innocent and like very like great idea, but then it turned into this very messy and like production behind scenes drama. Like
Okay.
like as you heard before, like Wesley Snipes was not going well with the director because of whatever. Like it's never been clear why he was so acting up. But I mean, whatever, and then stuff like that, and like he wasn't good with the cast members like Reynolds and stuff like that. It's just it's been documented so many times on YouTube, and it's like you can check it out. It's crazy. But thank you, Will, for joining me. This was a fun podcast.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. I was shocked when you say you didn't see this film. I was like, okay, this is gonna be a fun podcast, and I'm very happy. And I think we say more than the first film because this film had a lot more. Like just like the thing I like about this film is there was a lot going on with this film.
Yeah.
Emotionally and just like they jam pack everything. That's why I love it. It's just so many things. Yeah, yeah. So with this say, do you want to choose a topic for next Sunday? Not this Sunday coming up, next Sunday for a podcast, before Hawkeye is coming back or coming soon, or
Hmm. Yeah. Oh man. I don't know what I would pick.
I I I finish up Agent of Shield season 2 and 3. So
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you want to do another podcast on the Agent of Shield.
Yeah, we Could do that. I don't think I'm gonna have time to rewatch the seasons, but I can read up on it again, and then we can talk about it.
Well, we just do season two because I think it'd be better to do a season
Okay.
podcast. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah. Okay. So let's do Agent season two, and then afterwards you can maybe we could come up with a topic together afterwards.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'd be great. Well, thank you everyone for listening to this podcast. Me and Will be back for next Sunday. Of course, this week is Halloween. Both of us have plans. You know, for reasons for the Sunday. But we'll be back for next Sunday in November, which is crazy. Which is crazy. Well, I can't believe we're almost there.
Yeah, I know.
It's crazy. So, oh my god. I'm happy to get a turkey finally.
Yep.
Good. So thank you everyone for joining this podcast. Me will be back. Of course, hit the subscribe button. We'll see you guys later.